Good morning, everyone. Today we'll discuss introduction to macroeconomics. Now, if you remember our previous class, we discussed about microeconomics, we discussed about macroeconomics, and then we discussed the relationship between microeconomics and macroeconomics. And if you remember, when we were discussing this thing, we discussed that microeconomics actually deals with the economic study of a single unit. So whether it is a firm or consumer. But macroeconomics actually understand the problems which are there at a mass level. And therefore we say aggregate. I'll give you an interesting example that in micro when we say demand. In the same way, when we go in macro, we say aggregate demand. In the micro, we say supply. Then in macro, we say aggregate supply. When we say demand and supply in micro, then we say aggregate demand and supply. Aggregate supply. Now the question is, what happens when we say aggregate demand and aggregate supply? What we are talking about? Then we are talking about the economy. Then we are talking about the state. Then we are talking about a big picture. So when I say this big picture, what is this? This is macroeconomics. And therefore, this macroeconomics is very popular. More than microeconomics, macroeconomics is popular. Little difficult also. The reason is very simple. In microeconomics, we can take some assumptions. And I will again give you the example when we were discussing law of demand. What we said, if other things remain the same, then there is an inverse relationship between price of a product and quantity demanded. So what was that? If other things remain the same, that is assumption. Because we assumed that all variables, whatever variables you think, all variables, income of a consumer, fashion, technology, location, whatever you may think, all are constant. And then we analyze. Interestingly, in macroeconomics, we don't have a choice. The reason is that there are many variables in economy which are working together. When I'm talking to you, then there is some inflation rate. When I'm talking to you, there is some stock market. When I'm talking to you, there may be some bank rate. When I'm talking to you, there is some birth rate, death rate. There are many variables which are going on and we have no control. So when we have to analyze anything, we cannot assume that this factor is constant. And therefore, when we talk about the macroeconomics, the important thing is that we have to capture many variables, as many as we can. And therefore, when we do analysis of macroeconomic problems, we find errors also. Now, interesting example I will take. One is, and that is very common, national income accounting. When you talk a common man, everyone knows what is GDP. It is such a popular term, then everyone asks about GDP. GDP is decreasing, unemployment is increasing. All these terms, they are coming from where? They are coming from macroeconomics. They don't know the term properly, what is employment, what is inflation, what is GDP. But these terms are so popular in our day-to-day life that many technical terms we actually take in our day-to-day life. So when I say macroeconomics, we'll discuss national income accounting, we'll discuss saving and consumption. Very important equation which I'll discuss in next classes. Y equals to C plus I plus G. So what is Y? So Y is a national income, C is consumption, I is investment, and G for government expenditure. Now, if there is a closed economy, then we say it is Y equals to C plus I plus G. But if it is an open economy, then there is an international trade. So when we include that international trade, then it is X minus M. So then the full equation becomes Y equals to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So X stands for export and M stands for import. Now when we take this, then we take many concepts of national income accounting, whether it is GDP, GNP, national income, then variety, for example, at market price, at factors cost. We also discuss this depreciation, we say capital consumption allowance, then personal income, then disposable income, discretionary income. So all these things we'll discuss. One important thing in the national income which we must know, that is only one variable which is actually calculated at per unit basis, that is per capita income. And rest of the values, they are calculated based on the aggregate value. So when you see these values, whether it is a personal income, whether it is a discretionary income, whether it is a GDP, NNP, national income, you will find aggregate value, say rupees in crores, for example. But when it comes on a per capita income, you will find values say in thousand, in lakhs only. So that is the difference. And then consumption and saving, and I'll introduce one very important concept, that is MPC, that is marginal propensity to consume. And then another interesting thing which we'll discuss, that is investment. So how investment bring that income, means what is the impact of introducing more and more investment in the economy so that the national income can be increased. And another topic which we'll discuss, that is multiplier. So we'll discuss the multiplier. And the last thing which I am discussing here, that is product market and money market. So in the next classes, we'll discuss integration of product market and money market, and how monetary policy and fiscal policy, they support these two different type of market, and how we find an equilibrium of economy through this product market and money market. So all these things we'll cover in the next class. Hope you will come with the preparation. And my one request to everyone, that please bring a real life example. So when I talk say GDP, you will find quarterly report. When I say inflation, you will find monthly report that is there. So whatever data, whatever information we are talking, all data is available for our country, India, as well as other countries also. So World Bank provides this data. Number one, in India, there are a lot of websites where you will find original data, authentic data. And my request is, when we have a good amount of data, then it gives fantastic picture where our country is going, in which direction the company is going. And believe me, if we can analyze this thing, we can actually predict the economic health of the country. So it depends on the variable which you are taking, and based on the analytical techniques, we can actually predict, and we can also predict sector wise and subsector wise, that we can do. So in the next class, we'll start from the national income accounting, but I will also want to discuss with you the circular flow of money. That is a very important aspect, and from there we'll start that macroeconomics. Thank you very much.